What's good, everybody? Appreciate you checking in. All right, we got a couple things to talk about. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, this past weekend, it was reported that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are going to part ways. There's been some rumbling that he might want to move west, and social media has blown up on whether or not the Raiders should pick him up. So I want to talk about that, but also want to talk about our home and away opponents. It broke a couple weeks ago. There's been a lot going on with obviously coaching changes, coaching hires, and so definitely been tapping into that side. But I also want to break down our home and away opponents for the 2025 season. Break that thing down, but also want to know if you're planning on going to a game. Obviously, for most of you, you know that I am in the Vegas area, so I try to go to as many games as I can. But this coming season, I also think I go to all the tailgates. I go to the tailgates, but I'm definitely going to try to link up with some of the viewers and some of you that come on here and support me. I definitely want to link up with you guys and just kind of meet in person next season. So I definitely want to know what game you might be looking forward to attending, depending on obviously how the schedule plays out. But we'll definitely break down the home and away opponents. But before we do, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe. My next giveaway is at 4,500 subscribers. It'll be my 8th giveaway since starting this channel last season. Just my way of saying thank you and show my appreciation. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to be included in that, but also turn on that notification bell. I hit you guys with lives on Tuesdays and on Sundays, just so I can kind of do a deeper dive and explain a little bit more on my takes, and also chop it up with you guys, get your feedback, answer any questions you might have, and kind of go back and forth. I definitely appreciate it, and I enjoy every single time I go on live. I'm stoked for it. I'm excited about it because I definitely enjoy chopping it up with you guys. So make sure you hit that notification bell as well. So let's kind of get into this. Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people are saying, should we pick up Aaron Rodgers or should we go after him? And look, we have a very tricky quarterback situation, right? We have Gardner Minshew and Nathan O'Connell currently on the roster. Gardner Minshew is not the guy. We all know that, especially based on what we saw last year. Aiden O'Connell still remains to just what's Aiden O'Connell's full potential? We still need to figure that out. You know, is his full potential a backup in the league? Is he potentially a bottom 15 quarterback, starting quarterback in the league? You know, the hard part about Aiden O'Connell is that he's been really dealt a shitty hand ever since he's been brought into the league, right? Josh McDaniels drafted him. He came in and then didn't get the start. Jimmy Garoppolo got the start. That didn't work out. And then all of a sudden, Aiden O'Connell kind of got thrown in when AP was brought on as the interim head coach, but his offensive coordinator was someone that never called plays in the NFL at all, Bo Hardigree. So in 1 year, he's had to learn 2 different systems, and then in the following year, he doesn't get the nod. Obviously, Gardner Minshew starts, and he had to learn a brand new offense out of Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy, halfway through the year, gets fired, and all of a sudden now he's got to learn another offensive system with Scott Turner now taking on the head play calling duties. And so many moving parts, obviously so many injuries last year on the offense, whether it be, you know, Devontae Adams going, Michael Mayer disappearing. Aiden O'Connell just has been dealt a shitty hand. And let's be honest, a lot of our quarterbacks in the past years have been dealt a shitty hand. So it's trying to figure out what is Aiden O'Connell's full potential. But I think the overall consensus is that we're going to target somebody in the draft, whether it be early, maybe mid-round, but we're definitely going to acquire a quarterback through the draft. Now, the other question is, do we acquire somebody through free agency? Is it a bridge quarterback? Is it a veteran? So on and so forth. I think with Chip Kelly, what we might find is that we could target somebody. The one guy to keep an eye out is Will Howard. Obviously, the quarterback over at Ohio State that now is in the draft. You could probably get him. I'd say at the earliest you could take a stab at him is maybe around the 4th round. I do think there's quarterbacks in front of him that might go anywhere between the 1st and 3rd round. And so you might take a stab at him in the 4th round, depending on just how much Chip Kelly thinks Will Howard's game translates to the NFL. So we'll see just kind of how it plays. But I do think whether we get a quarterback early, we draft one, or one falls to us, or we potentially get Jackson Dart late in the 1st, we trade back up into the 1st, or we sit in the 2nd and he falls to us. I think that might be the strategy when it comes to the young quarterback. But when it comes to a bridge quarterback or veteran quarterback, if you want to bring somebody in to maybe start the first 8 games or even the first year to kind of help that young quarterback prep and really help with learning the game before you throw him to the fire, throw him into the wolves, I don't think Aaron Rodgers, at least for myself, doesn't fit the criteria of a bridge quarterback that I look for in a bridge quarterback. So, for example, number one, I want a quarterback that's willing to teach the next quarterback, willing to teach the quarterback that's going to eventually replace him, whether it be halfway through the season or the season after, right? I want them to be willing to teach the next guy. Aaron Rodgers does not strike me as the person that's willing to teach the next guy. Who knows? Aaron Rodgers might think he's got 3, 4 more good years left. He may not want to do that. Number two, if you're a bridge quarterback, I want you to come in under a team friendly deal, right? I don't want to see us paying $30 million for a bridge quarterback. I want to see you more in that range of maybe 15 to 20 million, because we do have a good amount of salary cap. We're going into next year with $92 million. So I definitely want a quarterback that's coming on a team friendly deal, and also knowing that you are the temporary solution and you might not be the starter halfway through the season or even a year after your contract. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is that guy. Unfortunately, could he come in and potentially move this offense along fairly quickly? He probably could get us to 7, 8 wins. So I don't doubt that with Aaron Rodgers. But the problem is he doesn't fit the other criteria. I don't think he's going to teach the next guy, because I think Aaron Rodgers has maybe 1, possibly 2 okay years left. He's no longer the elite quarterback he was back in the day. And because of that, I don't think he also has the other characteristics that I want in a bridge quarterback. He's not going to teach the next guy, and he's going to want too much money. That's my biggest thing. And also, we all know he's basically a diva, right? He is going to come in and he's going to want it his way. I don't think him and Chip Kelly could work well together. You know, if Chip Kelly is going to learn off of the mistakes that he had in the NFL, he's got to understand, how do I coach players on their level and how do I relate to them? Aaron Rodgers is a completely different mountain to climb when it comes to learning and adapting to personalities. I don't want that in this building, especially if it's just a temporary fix. So I'm not on the Aaron Rodgers train. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you want us to bring, or at least take a stab at Aaron Rodgers to see if he wants to come play for our Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know in the comments down below. But again, for me, it's an easy no from my end. And so again, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you want to see us try to go after Aaron Rodgers? Now, next up, let's look at our home and away schedule. Again, as I'm going through this, let me know in the comment section down below if there's a game that you are looking to attend as it relates to our home opponents. Let me know in the comment section down below, but let's take a look at it. Right, our 2025 opponents. Obviously, the schedule isn't released. That's not till later this year, but let's look at our home. Let's look at our home opponents. We got obviously our division rivals. Then we got the Jags, the Titans, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Browns, and the Bears. All right, so just those home away opponents. It's actually pretty crazy. As I was looking through this schedule, it's probably one of the easiest schedules I think we've had in a very, very long time. There's definitely one specific thing that I'm going to be watching out for, and I'm going to touch on that just in a second. But then you look at our away schedule, obviously, again, our divisional opponents. Then you got the Texans away. You got the Colts, the Eagles, Washington, and the Patriots. And so, again, kind of touching back on just how easy this schedule kind of is. Now, granted, we're not very good as well. We're picking 6th in the draft, so we're not very good. But you look at, we got 5 opponents that are picking in front of us in that draft. The Jags, the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, and the Patriots all pick in front of us. All right. So that right there is 5 opponents that are not very good. Now, obviously, we have our divisional rivals, which makes it a little more difficult. All of them made the playoffs. We didn't. We were the odd ones out. So we have a lot of ground to make up. But shout out to the Eagles. It was good seeing Kansas City get their ass handed to them last week in the Super Bowl. But then let's look at our away opponents. The one thing that I noticed about our away opponents is it's a lot of East Coast travel, right? You got the Eagles that are basically on the East Coast. Then you got the Washington Commanders on the East Coast. You got the Patriots. And so the one thing I'm definitely looking for is, what does that travel schedule look like when it comes to us having to go to the East Coast? Are we going to, do we have back-to-back games in the East Coast? Do we have a game where we go East Coast and then we go maybe play at home, or even a game against the Chargers, and then we head back to the East Coast? You know, one of the things that could really play a detriment on the preparation of a team is the amount of travel that you have to do. I mean, if you put a lot of miles on a team throughout the year, that could definitely hurt them, and it definitely screws up, obviously, with the change of time zone, but it also screws up just your weekly preparation, right? I think there's a lot of times, a lot of stories that I've heard where teams, if you're playing back-to-back weeks out on the East Coast, sometimes you bring the family out there, just to kind of help players get acclimated, maybe make the environment a little more comfortable, or sometimes you keep families away because you don't want that distraction. I think that's kind of what the Raiders did at some point, I think this year, was that they kept the families away, and it was kind of the time that they kind of stayed on the East Coast, and they took it as like bonding time, basically. And so that's definitely one of the things, as much as this is probably one of the easiest schedules I've seen in a very long time. One of the things I'm definitely going to be looking at is what does our away schedule look like as it relates to the amount of miles that we're traveling in short periods of time. Again, is it a West Coast game, then East Coast, then West Coast, and back and forth? How much are we traveling in a short period of time? That's definitely something I'm going to be looking out for. And so, again, guys, just wanted to jump on here, talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. That's been the hot topic just over the last few days. It's a hard no for me, again, just because the fact that I don't think he's going to teach the next guy. And I think he's going to want a little more money than I want, or a lot more money that I'd want to throw at a bridge quarterback, but also to keep in mind the issue or the concerns with Chip Kelly and just the way he can manage the personalities. I don't want Aaron Rodgers to be that personality that Chip Kelly has to manage. And so I don't think those two will work well together. And that's just purely an assumption on my end, but I just don't know how well they'll work together. So again, just my take. And also we hit up the home and away opponents. Let me know in the comment section down below. Is there a home game that you're looking to target? Because again, I'm going to try to get out to all the tailgates, and I definitely want to link up with my viewers and kind of just put names to faces a little bit, especially if you link up with me in the comment section or during the live. So again, I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. My next giveaway is at 4,500 subscribers. If you want to be included, hit that subscribe button. But I also go live on Tuesdays and Sunday evenings. So hit that notification bell so you know when I do drop more content, but also when I do go live. So you can chop it up, ask questions, engage. We love it. I definitely appreciate it. So have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you checking in. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.